M. Night Shyamalan's 1999 classic film, The Sixth Sense, is still talked about even after all this time. The film is an iconic thriller that revolutionized the cinematic landscape, all while becoming a cultural phenomenon that would stand the test of time. This cult classic had a riveting narrative that had everyone on the edge of their seat. It starred the legendary Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment, and together they brought the iconic story to life, earning the Film 6 Academy Award nominations. There's no doubt about it. The Sixth Sense is a cinematic masterpiece. But behind the haunting story are weird facts behind the scenes that you probably didn't know about. At such a young age, Haley Joel Osment was already a powerhouse, and it showed in his performance in the film. At the time he auditioned, he was only 10 years old, and even then he knew he had what it took to land the role. When Haley Joel Osment walked in for his audition, he walked in like he owned the place. He wore a neatly knotted tie that gave off a confident aura about him. After asking for 30 seconds of silence, he got into character as he turned from the wall with tear-stained cheeks and delivered his monologue with an authentic, raw, and childlike dread that left everyone in the room speechless. Everyone was frozen in time after his performance, and the casting director Ike Kaufman developed a soft spot for him and a need to protect him. At the same time, Shyamalan tried so hard to hold back his tears. After the audition ended, the official search for the character Osment auditioned for, Cole, was called off. There were no other children who were able to deliver the line as thought-provoking as Osment did. He had a certain level of authenticity that wouldn't rely on any special effects. He also delivered the vulnerability and strength that the character Cole needed. Osment's level of sincerity and emotional precision created the foundation for his entire performance, and Shyamalan was so impressed that he later framed the tie in a shadow box in his office as a cherished moment. A few years before The Sixth Sense was released, Bruce Willis was set to star in another Disney film called The Broadway Brawler. However, there were a few unfortunate events that led up to creation of this film. Creating this Disney film was a challenging process. Bruce Willis wasn't only starring in this film, but he was also producing it. This meant he had the right to make decisions during the process of making the film. So, he made decisions such as firing most of the crew, including the director, less than 3 weeks into production. This didn't go down well with the higher-ups. In fact, the chaos of it all forced Disney to abandon the movie entirely, and they lost a whopping $17.5 million. Of course, Bruce Willis wasn't going to be let off the hook after such an outrageous loss. So, to make up for it, Willis signed a 3-picture contract with the studio in which a portion of his salary would go back into covering Disney's losses on Broadway Brawler. Bruce essentially had 3 films he needed to star in as part of the settlement. The first film was Armageddon, the second film was The Sixth Sense, and the third was The Kid. Through The Sixth Sense, he earned $10 million, and by the time he had cashed in on all 3 films, he had also gained more success as an actor. It's weird to imagine a world where Haley Joel Osment did not play Cole in The Sixth Sense, but it could have easily happened if Osment didn't knock out park with his incredible audition. Turns out a familiar and famous actor auditioned for that very same role back in the day. The actor was Michael Cera, known for projects like Arrested Development. Michael Cera revealed that he had auditioned for the role of Cole when he was 10 years old. He confessed that he did not understand the film's central concept at the time. So during his audition, he played the scene in an upbeat manner instead of the emotionally intense manner it required. He recalled a scene where Cole is crying and slides a penny to Bruce Willis's character, but he played it in an upbeat way, not emotionally. He stated that he had no clue the movie was about seeing dead people and that this wasn't mentioned in the breakdown. After seeing the film, he thought back to the scene he read for his audition. The scene where Bruce Willis says, "I can't be your doctor anymore," and Haley Joel Osment starts crying and slides a penny over to him. According to Cera, that was a very emotional scene, and I did not do it that way. He stated in the 2009 interview with Esquire, "I did it upbeat. I said some magic's real, some magic very optimistically." The director of The Sixth Sense, Shyamalan, and the cinematographer, Tak Fujimoto, created a secret visual code using the color red. It's not a literal language, but rather a symbolic language where red objects or clothing in a scene suggests a connection to the supernatural or moments of intense emotional conflict. The red objects were a subtle signifier of when the paranormal world was invading the living. There were red objects such as a crimson doorknob, a lone red ball, or Cole's wax saint statue, all of which weren't just props. They are cinematic Morse code that prepares you for the drama before you consciously even register the threat. This wasn't an easy language to create. The team conducted 15 dye tests to find the perfect shade of red. They also had to ensure that it would pop against the film's deliberately underexposed cold blue palette. This was a brilliant use of the color red by the director. He wanted it to indicate the presence of ghosts or moments where the worlds of the living and the dead intersect, and it did just that. This understated technique trained the audience's subconscious, and it proved that one single color can deliver haunting chills faster and more effectively than any cheap jump scare tactic ever could. Shyamalan perfectly made use of red to highlight specific moments and enhance the film's atmosphere as well as storytelling. To preserve all the shocking twists and turns of the movie, the studio went through great lengths to keep things secret, even with the star of the film, Bruce Willis. Bruce was given a script that was missing the final 10 pages just to make sure he didn't know what the end had in store. The actual ending was a password-protected digital file called a vault, and it was only accessible to a few people. The director and producers of the film ran a tight ship, taking all necessary measures to keep the ending a secret. Even crew members were forbidden from discussing key plot points like wedding rings or hospital monitors near Willis during automated dialogue replacement sessions. Willis even recorded placeholder lines to mislead sound engineers. His genuine shock at the first screening was the exact reaction Shyamalan wanted, leaving Bruce Willis in the dark when it came to the major twists of The Sixth Sense until after the end of the filming process. Willis has stated that the revelation of his character's demise in the film was a surprise for him. Even though he knew the script secrets, even with the twist, Willis remained fully committed to the role, even training himself to use his non-dominant hand to embody the state of his character further. Overall, because the script was structured to reveal the twist in one go, it was a challenge to shoot scenes without revealing too much. Can you imagine the film without its iconic line? Well, it was almost cut out of the film entirely. Before the film premiered, it underwent the typical process. Marketing surveys labeled the line as potentially cheesy, and the studio executives were determined to cut it out. However, Shyamalan wasn't having any of it, so he fought hard to make sure it was not cut out. He argued that the line had a quiet, understated delivery, and that was what made it so haunting. To change the minds of those who wanted to cut out the line, he played real audio of children describing nightmares in flat and eerie monotone. The room fell silent as he played the clip, and eventually the line was saved. It went on to become one of the most quoted lines in cinematic history, and it proved that a simple whispered phrase had the power to deliver a louder impact than any wordy dialogue could. The fact that the iconic line was almost switched out for a more extended version is haunting, to say the least. The final version, with the line intact as seen in the movie, focused on the emotional impact of Cole's confession, and also focused on the connection between Cole and Malcolm Crowe. Without the line, The Sixth Sense wouldn't have had the same impact, as it became one of the most memorable lines in film history.